Demon Souls is criminally underrated. Even though it's known as the worst in the Soulsborne, Sekiro, I'm not saying that again. Even though it's known as the worst in the Soulsborne franchise, it's still an absolutely phenomenal game. I'm talking about you too, Demon Souls PS3. You aren't all that bad. Before Demon Souls, you had King's Field and Armored Core, which are FromSoft's big franchises, except they weren't very big, and they weren't really played at all outside of Japan. So here we are, a company making not very popular games, and a young man who had just resigned from his job to pursue a career in game dev, and that man was the one, the only, Hidetaka Miyazaki!
All my fellas! All my fellas! All my fellas!
I promise that's the last time I'll play a clip with the song in the background. Nah, I'm just kidding, I love those. Anyway, our boy Miyazaki got the job, and not only that, he actually got to be the game planner for Armored Core Last Raven. For the life of me, I can't find Armored Core Last Raven's sales data, but I'm assuming it did good because Miyazaki went straight from game planner to director for Armored Core 4. Fast forward a couple years, and PlayStation wants to capitalize on the popularity of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so they reach out to FromSoft about making a similar game. However, their game went spiraling straight into development hell, and it was almost cancelled. Miyazaki was very interested though. He stated in an interview, "I'd worked exclusively on Armored Core titles in my role at From Software, but I'd always wanted to make a dark fantasy game that drew on the fighting fantasy series of books. The Demon Souls project was that opening that I'd always been waiting for." Boom! There you go, the birth of Souls games. I think that's enough history though, so let's go over why the game is way better than people make it out to be. The Nexus is easily the best hub area, and yes, I'm putting it above both Firelink shrines. It's filled to the brim with intricate details and cool NPCs. I mean, who doesn't love Stockpile Thomas? And that little world record thing at the top? Amazing. And yes, I know some people say the Dark Souls 3 Firelink shrine is the best, but it's literally just the Nexus, but with embers all around, so you can't be yapping. I just know that someone's gonna say,
actually, it's detailed in the remake, but Dark Souls 1 came out 8 years before that.
And you know what I have to say to you? Look at the PS3 version, just as detailed, just as many NPCs. There's more to the Nexus though, because out of all the levelers, the Maiden in Black is the second best, only followed up by our good friend the Bonfire. And hey, if you don't want to lose your pure white world tendency in all worlds, then you just jump off the top of the Nexus and you get to keep it. And just to drive the nail in the coffin, the Archstone system is the coolest way to get to new areas. Just having your objective appear on a bonfire and clicking travel isn't even remotely as good as going up to some big stone thing and then going to the area it's assigned to. I rest my case. The map design straight up rivals that of Dark Souls 1. Never thought I'd say that with a straight face now, did you? I'm dead serious though. There's more shortcuts and secrets than I can count, which isn't very high, but that's still more than Elden Ring. The very first area sets a high bar for map design, and just about every level can reach that high bar, except for the stupid gosh darn flipping swarms. I'm keeping it family friendly here today, guys. But for real though, the Stonefang Tunnel entrance area, like the place with the dogs, is one little room, but it's so chock full of content that you spend over 10 minutes in it. Now that is good game design. Upper Latria has all those little interconnected bridges, which they do way better than in Orlando, I'll have you know. Shrine of Storms has all those little caves and tunnels with skeletons and reapers in them that lead up to the old hero, which is a very fun fight. And even the Valley of Defilement has, yeah, I got nothing. But hey, we got the Maiden Astria song from that. That song is a certified hood classic. But wait, there's more. Valley of Defilement has the Moonlight Greatsword, which is the first in the Souls series games. I know it was in King's Field and Armored Core. I said Souls games. Next up here is the boss design, because some of these battles are crazier than a Super Mario Bros. Wii game night. And while Demon Souls does have more gimmick fights than any other game in the series, they're done very well. Take Storm King for example. While the fight basically relies on you using one specific weapon, you still get to take out massive stingrays using a big storm sword. While fights like Riker just make you use a specific weapon that's only real power is more range. But don't go thinking all Demon Souls fights are gimmicks. Flamelurker is a great representation of a tough as nails iconic Souls fight. Very challenging with a very learnable moveset. Sorry, I just went on a nostalgia trip there, but those were the good old days. But I'm not done with bosses. You may remember me talking about music earlier because holy moly, the remake has the best music out of all 7 games. And if you disagree, you're wrong. I know that Made in Astria is the best, but there's other really good boss music too, like Tower Knight, Flame Lurker, and One Who Craves Souls. I kid you not, I listen to these songs at school with my Tozo G1s. Please give me monetization, I want AirPods. Tendency is cool, and none of the other games have it, which sucks because Dark Souls 2 would be even better if it did. You either have Black World Tendency by killing NPCs and dying as a human, or White World Tendency by killing bosses and invaders. Pretty nifty, huh? If you have Pure Tendency towards a specific side, then you get events which can be new areas or even mini-bosses. For instance, Pure White World Tendency opens the gate at the bottom left of Boletarian Palace 1-1, while Black World Tendency makes that area harder and adds a lot of black phantoms. I myself have platinumed the game because I have no life, but to platinum, I needed to get my tendency from Pure Black to Pure White, which sucked. Shout out to the dude on Summon Sign that let me kill him 20 times, you're a real one. There's a couple of tendency events that open side quests too, like the Satsuki quest where you help him get his sword, but then he starts fighting you, and your tendency goes down. Cool beans. I'm gonna start wrapping this up, but I can't make a video about this and not talk about the environment, so yeah. I want you to close your eyes and think about the Shrine of Storms. Think of the first time you spawned in and saw the pouring rain and the tree getting struck by lightning. If you haven't played Demon Souls yet, it's a cool scene. I'm not saying other Souls games don't have cool environments, but Demon Souls has the best effects in lighting. Even the PS3 version still has fog all over in the Shrine of Storms and dark lighting in the Valley of Defilement. We all know that if you're given the choice between Boletarian Palace and Lothric Castle, you'd pick Boletarian Palace any day. And the reason for that is the environment. I mean, they're both equally big and stunning, but Lothric just feels less like a castle. I'm not saying you have to agree with me, but that's my opinion. I'm gonna give just one more example here, so bear with me. The Prison of Hope just feels like a tried and true prison. You're walking through and you hear the screams of other prisoners. You see prison wardens patrolling. It feels way more complete than Irithyll Dungeon, and if you don't remember what that is, you're proving my point. Thanks. Well, I hope that if you hated Demon Souls before, you've changed your mind now. You can still say it's the worst in the series, but that by no means makes it a bad game. I know that reviews were really good, but the amount of hate I see for this game across the player base is wild. Anyway, I think I've yapped enough, so see ya.